You must understand this first truth: the world is a theater, and every soul upon it an actor. Yet most men stumble across the stage blind, unaware that the audience watches not for their honesty, but for their performance. You may believe presence is something natural, a gift bestowed at birth, but I tell you, it is a weapon forged by design. Those who shine in the eyes of others are not born luminous. They learn to kindle fire in their own image and project it outward until others are consumed by it. Think of the courts of Florence, where dukes, merchants, and envoys gathered. The man with power was not always the richest nor the strongest, but the one who could seize attention with his very bearing. He understood that men are governed not by truth, but by the spectacle they behold. To become magnetic, you too must craft your presence like an actor rehearses his role, for life rewards those who control perception. When you walk into a room, you are already speaking without words. Your step declares your rank, your posture whispers your authority, your eyes reveal whether you rule or submit. Most squander this silent power because they enter timidly, hoping to be accepted. But those who wait to be accepted are already forgotten. The magnetic individual does not beg for attention. He commands it. He recognizes that his arrival is not a casual occurrence, but an entrance upon a stage where all eyes might turn, if only he gives them reason. Confidence, charm, charisma, all of these are but tools of the same craft: performance. Do not confuse performance with falsehood. The ruler who masks his thoughts with a smile does not lie, he governs. The general who speaks with certainty, even while doubting within, does not deceive. He strengthens his men. To craft presence is not to betray yourself, it is to control how others perceive you, and in turn how they treat you. Ask yourself this: why do some men speak little, yet their silence weighs more than another's speech? Why do some merely enter, and the atmosphere shifts, as if gravity itself bends to them? It is because they have understood what you are now learning. They know that presence is not about noise or distraction. It is about the deliberate arrangement of self, the art of appearing larger than you are, until others feel compelled to orbit around you. Think of Cesare Borgia, whose very glance unsettled his enemies and seduced his allies. He played his role with such mastery that even his cruelty became part of his magnetism. He dressed with purpose, spoke with precision, and carried himself as if he were already a prince long before he had secured his throne. His presence did not emerge from chance, it was cultivated like a weapon sharpened daily. You, too, must understand that every gesture, every pause, every glance can be wielded like a blade if performed with intention. And what of those who shrink from this idea, who say, "I will be myself," unpolished, unperformed? Such men are doomed to obscurity. To reject performance is to surrender to invisibility. The crowd will not bend toward you because of your inner purity. They will bend only if you project an image that captures their imagination. Presence is theater, and the stage does not reward the unprepared. Yet take care. The performance must not appear as performance. The magnetic individual rehearses, but he makes it look effortless. He prepares his words, but speaks as if struck by sudden inspiration. He studies the weight of silence, but lets it fall as though natural. The mask is crafted with precision, yet it must cling so closely to the face that none can tell where artifice ends and reality begins. For the great danger lies in being exposed as a mere pretender. Once the illusion shatters, presence evaporates like mist. Therefore, build your presence not upon lies, but upon controlled exaggerations of truth. If you are intelligent, appear brilliant. If you are calm, appear unshakable. If you are ambitious, appear destined. The world does not reward those who are merely sufficient, it rewards those who appear extraordinary. Presence is not the denial of your nature, it is the magnification of it. Remember, a stage is only powerful when an actor fills it with purpose. So it is with life. If you enter quietly, timidly, shrinking into corners, the stage devours you. But if you stride forth with measured steps, your eyes steady, your bearing deliberate, you declare to all that this theater belongs to you. And the truth is, men prefer to follow one who appears certain of his role than one who appears lost. Presence, then, is not given, but seized. It is not born but made. It is the conscious shaping of perception until your very existence commands attention. This is the theater of power, and in this theater, you must not be a forgotten spectator. You must be the performance itself. Confidence. Men speak of it as if it were a feeling, a private sensation buried in the heart. They imagine that to be confident is to feel secure within themselves, to drown out every whisper of doubt. But I tell you, this is a lie. Confidence is not what you feel, it is what you project. In the game of power, the perception of certainty is far more valuable than certainty itself. Men do not follow the one who hesitates, even if he possesses truth. They follow the one who appears unshakable, even if he secretly trembles within. This is the armor of confidence. It shields you from attack before the battle even begins. When others believe you are sure, when they see in your eyes the flame of conviction, they grow hesitant. They begin to question themselves, not you. And once doubt takes root in their hearts, you have already won without lifting a sword. Picture a leader at the head of an army. His men look to him not for absolute knowledge of victory, but for the illusion of it. If he stands tall, if he speaks with unwavering tone, his soldiers march forward believing fate bends to their cause. But should his voice quiver, should his eyes dart with uncertainty, then even the strongest battalion dissolves into weakness. The man who appears confident transmits his certainty like a contagion. The man who reveals fear poisons all who follow him. This is why you must learn to wear confidence as armor. You may feel chaos within, but the world must never see it. You may question yourself, but others must see only conviction. In this way, you shape their perception, and their perception becomes your reality. For the truth is that most of life is a contest of appearances. Men rarely test the foundations of your strength. They judge you by the facade you present. If your mask is unshakable, they assume the fortress behind it is impregnable. Look to the rulers who commanded nations not by kindness, nor even by cruelty, but by certainty. They did not allow hesitation to escape their lips. They spoke as though the heavens themselves had declared their words as law. And the people believed, not because the ruler was always right, but because he never revealed himself to be unsure. Confidence in appearance was more powerful than truth itself. But here lies the paradox. To master confidence, you must first abandon the foolish belief that you must always feel it. Waiting for your heart to align with your mask is the strategy of the weak. The strong learn that confidence begins as performance, a mask worn long before it becomes second nature. If you speak as though you are certain, others will believe you. If others believe you, opportunities will bend toward you. And as these victories accumulate, your performance becomes reality. Thus, perception births truth and the mask fuses with the face. Observe how even silence can be armored with confidence. The timid man avoids silence, filling space with nervous words. The magnetic man embraces it. He allows his silence to grow heavy, so heavy that others lean forward, desperate to hear what he might say. His stillness is not emptiness, it is command. For silence, when worn with confidence, is louder than any speech. Consider too the gaze. The eyes are windows of fear for most men, betraying every doubt. But you must train yours to be a weapon. To meet another's gaze with steadiness is to declare silently, I fear nothing of you. To look away too quickly is to confess submission. Confidence is not always in speech. Often it lives in the smallest gestures, the slightest choices, the subtleties that others read without words. Confidence, therefore, is strategy. It is not waiting for courage to arrive, but deciding that no matter what storms rage within, you will appear as though the sun shines upon you alone. This is what makes others trust you, follow you, and even bow before you. Men crave certainty, for most are plagued by doubts of their own. The one who appears confident offers them a refuge from their own insecurities. They flock to his side not because he is perfect, but because he is unshaken. And what a failure! The magnetic individual does not hide from it. He transforms it. When the crowd expects shame, he responds with defiance. When others expect him to crumble, he stands taller. Confidence is not the absence of loss. It is the refusal to let loss define the image you project. Men admire not the flawless, but the resilient, the one who seems immune to the blows that cripple ordinary souls. Understand this well in the eyes of others. You are what you appear to be. If you appear weak, they will treat you as weak, even if hidden strength lies within. If you appear confident, they will treat you as strong, even if weakness gnaws at your bones. The choice is yours, to reveal your chaos, or to wear armor so convincing that even you begin to believe it. This is the essence of the armor of confidence, to master perception before mastering reality. For when perception bends in your favor, reality soon follows. Men hunger for what they cannot fully grasp. The rare jewel hidden behind a curtain is worth more in their eyes than the one displayed in the market square. This is the law of human desire. It is not abundance that seduces, but scarcity, not openness that captivates, but mystery. If you wish to become magnetic, you must understand this truth. You must become an enigma, never entirely revealed, always partially concealed. For men chase shadows longer than they hold light. Look closely at the nature of attraction. Why do people whisper about the ruler who seldom speaks, yet hang upon every word when at last he opens his mouth? Why does the court gossip endlessly about the man who conceals his affairs, while forgetting the one who parades them openly? It is because mystery awakens imagination, and imagination is far more powerful than truth. The mind of another will fill in the gaps with fantasies far greater than reality could ever provide. The less you reveal, the more they invent, and what they invent always exceeds the truth. Those who are too eager to be understood, who bare their souls, their thoughts, their entire being at once, think they are earning closeness. But in truth, they suffocate intrigue. They drain the air from the room by leaving nothing for the imagination to breathe upon. Men tire quickly of what is fully known. Desire does not thrive on certainty. It thrives on distance, on ambiguity, on the intoxicating allure of what might be. Consider the rulers of old, draped in velvet and guarded by ritual. The common man never saw the prince eat, nor heard him speak casually, nor knew his private thoughts. This veil made him appear more than human, touched by divinity. His mystery elevated him above the crowd. Even when he stumbled, the illusion endured, for no one could fully pierce the fog surrounding him. You must adopt the same strategy. Show the world fragments of yourself, never the whole. Let them glimpse enough to hunger for more, but never allow them to feast. And what are those who scoff at mystery, who say, "I have nothing to hide"? These are the men who remain ordinary, who are treated as predictable tools, not as forces to be reckoned with. Transparency is the luxury of the powerless. The magnetic individual knows better. He withholds not out of fear, but out of strategy. He understands that what is concealed acquires weight, while what is exposed loses it. The secret becomes more valuable than the truth itself, simply because it is hidden. Mystery does not mean silence at all times, it means calculation. Speak, but leave your words trailing into questions. Tell stories, but omit the ending. Enter a room, but do not reveal your full intent. Allow others to speculate, to wonder, to lean toward you in search of answers. The longer you make them seek, the deeper their fascination grows. Their curiosity becomes a leash, binding them to your presence. Even your appearance can be sharpened into mystery. The man who dresses with precision but avoids excess invites questions. Why this color? Why this symbol? Why this deliberate choice? The one who adorns himself with extravagance alone is dismissed as vain, but the one who chooses restraint, leaving symbols for others to interpret, becomes a riddle. Each detail becomes a whisper, and people will invent stories to explain what you never confirm. Remember also the art of unpredictability. When your actions cannot be fully anticipated, you become a figure of fascination. The general who strikes not when expected, but when least foreseen, terrifies his enemies. The courtier who shifts between warmth and reserve keeps allies ever attentive, never secure. Predictability breeds boredom, but unpredictability wrapped in mystery breeds obsession. Think of the lover who is always available, always eager, always transparent. They are quickly discarded, for there is no chase, no tension, no veil. Now think of the one who withholds, who reveals fragments, who lures with silence. They become unforgettable, for the mind cannot stop circling the puzzle. The same principle applies to all human relations. Whether in love, politics, or influence, the one who withholds draws others as moths to fire. But beware, mystery must be wielded with mastery. If you conceal too much, you risk being mistaken for emptiness. If you reveal nothing, they will grow frustrated and abandon the chase. The art lies in balance. Enough revelation to spark curiosity, but never so much that curiosity is satisfied. The magnetic figure is like a book with missing pages. Every glimpse excites the reader, but the story is never complete. And it is in this incompleteness that fascination grows eternal. This is why rulers of genius, generals of cunning, and seducers of history all wrap themselves in veils. They understood that to be fully known is to be ordinary, but to remain partly hidden is to appear extraordinary. To master mystery is to enslave imagination, and once you control the imagination of others, you control their hearts, their loyalty, even their fear. Energy is the invisible thread that binds men to you or repels them from you. It is not merely what you say, but how you carry yourself, how you move, how you withhold movement, how you shape silence until it weighs upon the room. Most squander their energy in nervous habits, in restless chatter, in gestures that betray weakness. But the magnetic figure learns to harness his energy like a weapon, so that every silence, every glance, every motion becomes deliberate, controlled, and unforgettable. Understand this: people do not read your words alone, they read your presence. They study how long you pause before speaking, how steady your breath remains under pressure, how your eyes fix or wander. A man who fidgets, who stumbles in movement, who laughs too quickly at nothing, dissolves his power. He announces to the world that he is ruled by nerves rather than by will. But the one who moves with restraint, whose gestures are few but exact, creates the impression of strength far greater than his words could ever command. Silence itself is a weapon. The timid man fears it, rushing to fill the air with meaningless sound, afraid that others may judge his quiet. But the man of presence knows silence is his ally. When he falls silent, he forces others to lean toward him, to wait, to wonder what storm brews behind the stillness. In negotiation, silence unsettles. In confrontation, silence intimidates. In intimacy, silence draws the other closer. The ability to wield silence, to let it expand until the other breaks, is among the greatest signs of mastery. Consider the gaze. The eyes are the most dangerous instrument of all, for they reveal what words conceal. A wandering gaze betrays submission. A lowered gaze confesses defeat. But the one who holds his gaze steadily, neither aggressive nor timid, commands respect without speaking. To meet the eyes of another with calm certainty is to declare silently, I fear you not, and you must reckon with me. Even a single measured glance can communicate more than 100 frantic speeches. The magnetic individual trains his gaze to be steady, precise, and piercing, for men are ruled by the eyes more than by the ears. Movement, too, is a language of power. The ordinary man wastes his energy in constant motion, speaking with his hands, pacing without purpose, shifting as if uncertain of his own skin. The magnetic man moves as if every gesture is chosen, as if his body is an instrument of command. A turn of the head, a deliberate step, the slow raising of a hand. When performed with intention, such motions arrest attention more forcefully than any flurry of restless activity. To move less, yet with greater purpose, is to appear larger, more commanding, more certain of your dominance over space itself. The mastery of energy requires restraint. Power is not in showing everything you feel, but in controlling what you project. Even in rage, a ruler does not flail or shout. He narrows his fury into a single word, a single glare, and the effect is greater than any outburst. In delight, he does not erupt in laughter, but allows a small smile, forcing others to search for meaning in that subtle gesture. Energy, when scattered, weakens. Energy, when controlled, conquers. Think of the general on the battlefield. His soldiers do not look to him for constant chatter or frantic orders. They look to see if his face remains composed as the cannons roar. If he appears steady, they believe victory is possible. If his hands are still, if his voice is measured, their fear dissolves. The command of energy transforms chaos into order, despair into courage, and what of presence in a gathering? The one who enters with loud proclamations is soon forgotten, for noise dies quickly. But the one who enters with stillness, whose energy radiates without frantic display, causes heads to turn. He does not demand attention, he draws it without effort. His restraint is a magnet, and the room bends toward him as if by gravity. Energy, when properly directed, makes the world orbit you, while you remain unmoved at the center. This is why discipline over your own body, your own silence, your own gaze is not mere formality. It is the essence of power. Men are not captivated by those who overflow with energy uncontrolled, but by those who master themselves so fully that even the smallest gesture strikes like a blade. Imagine a ruler raising only a finger, and the hall falls silent. That is the pinnacle of command, to make the smallest act thunder louder than the wildest display. You must learn to conserve, to withhold, to compress your energy into deliberate expression. Speak less and your words will weigh more. Move less and your movements will command more. Silence more often, and your silence will dominate the thoughts of those around you. The command of energy is not the art of doing more, but the art of doing less with greater force. To wield silence, gaze, and movement as weapons is to transcend ordinary presence. It is to stand among men not as one of them, but as something above them, something they cannot name yet cannot ignore. The one who masters his energy does not chase attention. It comes to him as if compelled by nature itself.